Hi, my loves. Welcome back to the Starscartel channel. If you don't know, I'm Star. The message I heard is afraid I didn't win. The scripture comes from Daniel 14:9. But if you can show me that Baal devours them, then Daniel will die. For he has spoken blasphemy against Baal. Daniel said to the king, let it be according to your word. So here's the message. God said that, so for whoever this is for, I hear God saying they may have won the battle, but they will lose the war. They may have won the battle, but they will lose the war. They may have won the battle, but they will lose the war. And I just feel like for whatever this is, I don't know what you quarreling with somebody about, what you fighting with somebody about, what you going back and forth with this person about. God says just because they won the battle does not mean they're going to win the war. It could be a situation, and what I'm being reminded of is kind of how sometimes when artists, when musicians or rappers specifically get into a battle with each other. And I was watching this video about, you know what I'm saying, Remy and Nicki, and when they was getting into it, and I remember the person that was talking about it said Remy won the battle but Nicki won the war, because it's like, as far as a lot of people were saying that they felt like they liked Remy's song over Nicki Minaj's, the songs that she put out. However, when you look at Nicki's career versus Remy's career, it's no comparison. So it's kind of like that kind of vibe. With somebody, they may win the battle, but they gonna lose the war. They may have won the battle, but they gonna lose the war. Regardless of what it is. It could be a situation where you was trying to apply for the same job as somebody else. They end up getting that job. And you know what I'm saying? They feel some kind of way. They took your job, blah, 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 blah. You go on and create a whole business, a whole empire that is yours. They may have won that battle, but you won the war. It could be a situation where you and somebody, y'all were dating the same person. You find out, you move on about your business, or you know what I'm saying, or the person chooses them over you. You go on to meet Prince Charming, who was a billion times better than the person that was there. They may have won that war. They may have won that battle, but you're going to win the war. Or it could even be a situation where that relationship that they got going on ends up falling apart. Later on down the line, you and this person end up getting together and riding off into the sunset. They won the battle, but you won the war. God said it's going to be a situation where somebody is going to win a battle against you. And it's going to seem as though they won. You know what I'm saying? You can wrap it up and go home. But God said the fighter in you is what they wasn't thinking. They wasn't expecting the fighter in you. They weren't expecting you to be at the way that you are. They weren't expecting you to be who you are. They weren't expecting the opponent that they have. God says they may win the battle, but they're going to lose the war. They may win the battle, but they're going to lose the war. Even when we think about this scripture right here, this story about Baal and the dragon, where these people, these false prophets were lying, these false priests were lying to the king and telling king that the spirit Baal would come and eat food every night. And Daniel showed the king that it was in fact not the well, I'm getting ahead of myself. But you know what I'm saying? After this part right here, the king laid out a feast. The priest snuck in. They ate all the food. And the next morning, they deemed Daniel to be put in the lion's den. However, Daniel sat there looking at the lion, and the lion sat there looking at Daniel. And they looked at each other, and they stared at each other, and they watched each other for a while, for days. God even sent Habakkuk in there to bring Daniel something to eat, and then took Habakkuk back to his house. And after they had set him there, they opened the gate, and Daniel was there unscathed. He was not touched. The lions didn't do him nothing. And once Daniel came up out of there, Daniel then put a powder on the floor and told the king, go ahead, set up the food. He put a powder on the floor. The next morning, they saw little footprints that led to a trap door where the priests were coming in there at night and eating all the food. And when the priests went into the lion's den, they were devoured immediately. God said, you may lose this battle, but you will win this war. You may lose this battle, but you will win this war. That's the message. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Deuces.